Namaskar. Three things that I'm going to talk about today. TikTok's future, what is Trump going to do on his first day in office, and third, Vivek Ramaswamy's future plans. All these are riveting, and I request all of you to please like this video as we go through a small slide deck to talk about what is happening with respect to TikTok. In a very surprising decision, because it was surprise because nobody expected it. Supreme Court on Friday issued a 48-hour deadline to TikTok. And they said that if you cannot find yourself a buyer in the United States, then you shall go off air. What does that mean? Well, going off air has two components to it. One is the new subscribers that may want to download app, for example, from either iPhone or Apple, Android, those people will be denied the download, meaning Apple and Google would take out the app itself from downloading option. So you cannot install any new apps. But there are also millions of people who have already installed TikToks on their phones. What about them? Well, for that, what happens is the order will be issued to all the server manufacturers, server maintaining organizations. Last I heard, TikTok was on Oracle. And Oracle may have some mirror sites, all the mirror sites, everywhere, wherever the reach for the United States is. I don't think this applies to other countries, it's just the United States. Wherever they are serving United States, all those servers will go down. Basically, TikTok will go off air. From what I'm reading at what TikTok has responded, I'm reading that they think that they are going to go off air. Rather, they don't think that they want to sell this to anybody. So this is an interesting situation. What happens to the thousands of people who are working at TikTok? They are going to be out of jobs. That is at least for those who are working for the United States operations. TikTok claims that it is headquartered in Cayman Islands, which is again interesting thing. It is not TikTok, but the company called Bitendance. And this is again a red herring because people have determined that this is actually a Chinese company. And the reason why TikTok is being banned is because it has been collecting data about its viewers. This is the problem. Whereas what TikTok tried to do is take a different tack in front of the Supreme Court of the United States, saying that this basically denies them the freedom of speech enshrined under the First Amendment of the US Constitution. Now let's take a quick look at what are the rights a US citizen has under the First Amendment. In the First Amendment, they got many things such as freedom of religion, freedom to pursue any religion, freedom of speech, and I've expanded that one, that protects the right to express ideas about science, religion, morality, social issues, art, and personal gossip. It's a very broad definition here about freedom of speech. And there's also freedom of the press and also freedom of assembly. The First Amendment protects the right to peacefully assemble. And this is where you can see that whenever there are anti-Semitic protests or pro-Hamas protests, the American law and order typically tends to let them do it as long as they stay peaceful. That part is very important. Now, as far as speech is concerned, I'm noticing that some people who are being detained by state governments in India, they need to check and make sure that the people that they are detaining are actually Indian citizens, because some of the laws that they may want to force on them may not apply to them. There are a lot of other restrictions. I'm just being careful here in the choice of words. Why I'm saying all this is, if the person who you detain and put them in jail, they can afterwards sue you for malicious prosecution, and this could actually result in embarrassment for the country. And you don't want to do that, because this gets flared up. If somebody takes it in their hand and says, okay, I'm going to sue the heck out of you in a court in US, and then everybody gets dragged there, including the constable who arrested you, it becomes a pretty expensive game for everyone. So just want to put it out there for law and order agencies who might be, at the behest of their political masters doing some things. Now, what are the other things I discussed? I said I will discuss that. Second thing was, what is Trump going to do on his first day at office? It looks like more than 100 decisions are coming down the pipeline. Some are saying even 150 decisions. And expecting some blowback, we are also seeing many illegal migrants self-deporting. Eagle Pass, Texas. There are lots of videos coming from there where people are voluntarily leaving back for their native country. I'm finding it a little bit surprising that they are doing that. Maybe there is some other thing that I don't know, the people who brought them here have made out, saying that, okay, we'll hide you for a few years here, there, we'll bide for time, and then we'll get you back in here. Because the first time they played that card, when they took 200,000 illegals from New York and placed them in Canada, that gave the game away. So that is another interesting possibility. Not only that, Trump has promised to reduce corporate taxes from 22% to 18%. The 18% corporate tax essentially means 15%, because there will be other breaks that you will get, and that essentially brings US taxation on par with Ireland. So all this tax inversion gimmick that the Fortune 500 play, that goes out the window. But these people have parked trillions of profits outside of United States because they did not want to pay taxes in the United States. That's one thing that I would like Donald Trump to take a look into, to see how these American corporations, for the sake of not paying taxes, inverting themselves and incorporating themselves in Ireland or Singapore or some other tax haven destination. How does one deal with them in a fair way? That's an important thing, because if you do anything, their stock prices will go down. They'll say, oh, the stock market is going to crash. But something needs to be done to prevent them from doing this thing in the future, plus a fine to make sure that they don't exploit this kind of a situation. And this is just my 2 cents. That is Trump. Third one. What about Vivek Ramaswamy? You know, Lara Trump almost got the Senate candidate seat from Florida, but she did not eventually, because I guess the governor, DeSantis, had some other people that he had promised it to. So when Marco Rubio becomes the Secretary of State, his Senate seat is going to be appointed by the governor of Florida, DeSantis, and he's going to give it to somebody else. So Lara Trump is out of the picture there. Similarly, Trump had expressed, this is Donald Trump, had expressed his wish that Vivek Ramaswamy be nominated as the senator from Ohio to fill the seat vacated by J.D. Vance, who is now the vice president. But looks like the governor DeWine has somebody else in mind. So now he has already announced that candidate. So both these state governors are trying to assert themselves, saying, you know, this is what we are going to do. Now, Vivek is not going to be the senator from Ohio, but he has also put out feelers that he may run for the governor's office in November 2026. That's 18 months from now. That's good enough time for him to make a mark at DOGE. And if that goes off well, I don't see why he would not be the next governor of Ohio. So that would be a good beginning. Somewhere you have to get your administrative chops. I think that's a good path for Vivek Ramaswamy for a future presidentship, in my opinion. So let's take a few questions. I'm done with my part. Here we go. First question is not exactly in topic, but I'll still go ahead and take it. Thank you for your fatherly videos about stock market. Just because of your videos, I've saved my money by not investing. I'm trying to learn about SGB issued by government, sir. Your view, sir. I have to read the SGB. I haven't read it. Look, the problem with the Indian stock market is what you're seeing now, that one stock, 𝗟𝗏𝗏, has actually now caused a run on the market. Close to 60,000 crores have left the market. This is essentially the FPI, foreign portfolio investors, foreign institutional investors, all of them pulling their money out, because who knows what kind of shenanigans they had committed. So we don't know exactly when this is going to stop, but looking at how well the stock markets have performed in India, and the fact that you don't pay any capital gains on money brought in through Mauritius, that should keep the FIIs and FPIs interested. I think it will come back in. I don't know exactly when, because certainly we are seeing that China is imploding, and whatever money fled India for China. That happened about a couple of months ago when China said that they were going to invest some 4 trillion yuan or something like that into the Chinese economy. I think that's all a lot of gas, but that's just me. So that might still come back. However, why is the Indian government not acting on providing an equitable trading platform? Why are they still allowing all these things like front running? Why are they still allowing high-speed links between NSE and BSE? That basically throws out all the investors who would like to do anything in day trading. So my 2 cents, if I were somebody who wants to play the stock market in India, is I would not do day trading. Rather, I would just do my homework and pick the good stocks for the long run. That's what I would do. But unfortunately, if you look at the equity in the market, most of it is on futures and options, and that is a day trade occupation. Unfortunately, I don't think India has that much of a visibility or clean disclosure that helps you make an informed decision, especially when you are picking futures and options. So this is my 2 cents. I've tried doing this in US also with very limited success. 2009, when the Dow came down to, I think, 6,000. Now it's at 42,000. That's when I got into the F&O market in the United States. There was some upside for the next 18 months or so. But beyond that, I have not really seen a big return on investment. But if you invest in the right stock and wait for 5 to 10 years, you do get a big return out of that. So that's my 2 cents on stock markets. Let's take a quick look at what's the next question. Elmo D wants to know who will ultimately get ByteDance US operations, Musk or Kevin O'Leary. So this is the interesting thing. Let's play this thing out, right? I have put a link in the description section that I welcome all of you to read it, because that's a statement by TikTok. As a matter of fact, TikTok was discussed in the conversation between President Trump and Xi Jinping. I mean, these people are two leaders of 2 countries, and they were discussing TikTok. So clearly something was discussed, and this, I think, happened after the Supreme Court decision was handed down. Maybe TikTok is thinking that we are worth more than what we are being offered by either Kevin O'Leary or Elon Musk, and we would rather wait it out. Maybe they are readying an appeal in the Supreme Court to try and see if they can stall this thing by a few weeks or something like that, saying that we are very close to a deal, please give us another week's time or something like that. I don't see them giving that. The reason being that it was a unanimous verdict, 9-0. So that makes it almost very unequivocal, and they are basically asking that TikTok be taken off air, not because of freedom of speech, but because of national security interests, which is what the FCC communication chair had also said, that this hurts national interests. That's where the problem is. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in the next 24 hours. 24 hours, almost 24 hours is gone now. We'll have to wait and see what happens. So one way or the other, we will know the result as to who is going to win it, or if it's going to just shut down. So we'll have to wait and see. Vishal Singh says, Sree, why are you against F&O and day trade? There are people, including me, who are good at it. What's your take? Well, if you're, it's your money and your time, Vishal. More power to you. If you are able to make money off of futures and options, more power to you. But I would not recommend it for people who have some extra cash and they just sit in front of a computer at 10 a.m. and start doing day trading for 2-3 hours on end, and then see what happens at the end of the day. I think India's market is too shallow and not enough information is forthcoming. For example, there is if you are trading in a commodity, right? Then if it would help you if you know accurately what the harvest of that particular commodity is going to be 6 months from now, 9 months from now, whenever the next harvest cycle is, because accordingly the prices are going to either shoot up or they're going to collapse. So all these things are important in making a decision. How many of you, when you do day trading, are doing that diligence before you get in? That's the question. I'm not talking about people who have invested time and who know what they are doing. That's good. That's more power to you. But I'm more talking about the Aam Janta who thinks that stock market is easy to make money off of. I have not seen that happen. So that's all we have. There's one other thing here. Elmo wants to know if you talked about companies registered in Ireland or tax havens. I dealt with US companies who were all Delaware registered. What's the catch? Well, when you register a company in Delaware, you don't pay the state tax. That's one break you get, and the regulation is very light touch. But you still have to pay the corporate tax for the US when you file your returns for the company. And that used to be 35%. Trump brought it down to 22% in 2017. And it has been at 22%. Biden did not change it. But now Trump wants to bring it down even further to 15%. Ireland is, if I remember correctly, at 12% or 15%. One of those two numbers. It could be 12. That's what made it so attractive for companies to, basically what they'll do is they'll go find an Ireland registered company, and they would go and be acquired by this small shell company in Ireland, which might even have an innocuous name like Google Ireland Incorporated, and that would go and buy a multi-trillion company called Alphabet. These are all done just to avoid paying taxes. That's why it's called tax inversion. Inversion meaning like a bigger company is being acquired by a smaller company just to try and avoid paying taxes in the country they are incorporated in. That is wrong, morally wrong. Maybe not legally, but it's morally wrong. All your facilities, your productivity is because you are living in the United States. If you are living in Ireland and making all that money, fine, no more power to you, but it's not the case. So that's where the thing comes up. Anyway, so let's wait and see how things play out. So Indian markets are shallow. You're agreeing better trade FNO than hold stock. Up to you, Vishal. It's up to you. Somebody likes samosa, somebody likes pav bhaji. What can I say? Whatever whatever stuff you like. So if you're good at it and you don't mind taking the risk, more power to you. I'm just trying to tell it for the people who are jumping in thinking that the neighbor is working or trading and making money in the stock market, therefore I shall too. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, that's all we have for tonight. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.